Welcome. In this session, we are going to discuss inheritance. This session is divided in three parts. In first part, we'll see what exactly inheritance is, when to use inheritance, and we'll try to understand syntax of inheritance. We'll also have a look on how .NET framework use inheritance internally. Then we'll have a look on one demo example. In second part, we will see how constructors flow in inheritance. And in third part, we will have a look on various access modifiers available like private, public, protected, internal, protected internal. So whenever we talk about inheritance, we should understand two things. One is implementation inheritance and another is interface inheritance. In this session, we are going to focus on implementation inheritance. MSDN defines inheritance as inheritance enables you to create new classes that reuse, extend, and modify the behavior that is defined in other class. That means you can create new class which can modify or extend some other class. In this example, you can see that my derived is class which inheriting my base class. This is a syntax, C# syntax for inheritance, so that all the functionality of my base class will be available in my derived, and in my derived you can add new functionality. So when you will create object of my derived, if obj is an object of my derived, then it will have access to all the functionality of my base as well as my derived. Here you can see that obj object is of my derived, but it have two fields, field 1 and field 2, where field 1 is defined in my base and field 2 is defined in my derived. Also, you can call obj.fun1 and obj.fun2. So all the functionality as well as members of that class will be available in this object of my derived, because we have inherited my derived class from my base class. Now, understanding how to do inheritance is not difficult, but important is that we should understand when to use this. Here we wanted to develop one employee management application, and if company have two types of employees, on-roll employee and off-roll employee, to represent them we need to write two classes. So same way we have abstracted the required fields. Say on-roll employee need employee number, name, department, designation, basic salary, HRA, gross salary, PF, and net salary. And off-roll employee have employee number, name, department, designation, per hour rate, worked hours, and net salary. So basic difference is that on-roll employee have proper fields like basic salary, HRA, gross salary, all salary fields, but off-roll employee we pay them per hour according to per hour. This is basic difference over here. But at the same time you will find that there are a lot of similarities in these classes. So this is what redundancy of your code. You are repeating same thing again in your classes. This can happen. Now there are only two classes, but this can happen for multiple classes. There are certain classes with some common fields, so you can reduce it by using inheritance. So what we can do, all these common fields we can figure out and can create one base class like this, employee, using all that common fields, and then we can derive on-roll employee and off-roll employee from this employee class. So obviously on-roll employee will have specific fields for on-roll employees, and off-roll employee clause will have specific fields for off-roll employees. That's why base class is what we can refer it as generalized class, and derived class we can refer as specialized class. So inheritance can help you to reduce this redundancy. To understand it better, let us have a look on few more examples. Here you can see that I wanted to develop system where I have client, customer and supplier classes. But as we know that these classes share a lot of common functionality and common information. So that we can abstract and can put it in stakeholder class like first name, last name, address, city, blah blah blah. And then we can derive client, customer and supplier classes from stakeholder class. So we need not to repeat that first name, last name, addresses in all these three classes. What is this object? As we know in .NET, object is root class of everything. Means whenever you will create your own class, it will automatically get derived from object class. If I wanted to design banking system, say saving account, current account, and there are multiple types of account we can have. So we can create one base class account in which we can put all the common functionality, all the common information data that is common to all these classes, and then we can derive classes from this class. Let us have a look on how .NET use this powerful feature in its own framework. System.exceptions have lot of exception classes. If you look detailed hierarchy of these classes, you will observe that these are various common exception classes. Now if you will see, divide by zero exception and overflow exception are derived from arithmetic exception class, whereas arithmetic exception class is derived from system exception. Invalid operation exception, index out of range exception are also derived from system exception, including out of memory exception. System exception itself derived from exception class, which we say that it is a base class for all exceptions. And ultimate base class for all classes is object class. In this second example, you will see ADO.NET inheritance. There are many common classes that we use for database connection like SQL connection, ODBC connection, OLEDB connection. All these classes are derived from DB connection class, whereas DB connection class is derived from component, Marshall by reference, and ultimate base class is object. Same way, SQL command, ODBC command, OLEDB command are these classes are derived from DB command class. This is one good example. When we will work with Windows platform, we will be using lot of visual controls like buttons, text boxes, radio buttons. So these visual controls also share a lot of common functionality. That's why there also you will see lot of use of inheritance. For example, radio button and button both are buttons. So they both are derived from button base class. Label is also derived from control class. So you can see that all these controls have one common base class control. Rich text box and text box both are derived from text box base. List box, combo box both are derived from list control, and list control itself derived from control class. So summary is we use inheritance lot in .NET framework also. Now let us have a look on one small demo program where we will try to use inheritance in our application. Okay, you can create one new solution, inheritance demo, and you can add one console application, employee management application, and one class library project, employee management library. This is class library project. Okay, you can add like this, add new project, select class library, employee management library. Class library will not have main function, and after compiling it, it will create DLL file, whereas console application will create exe file. So DLL files we will refer in this exe project. Okay, you can add these classes in this application also, but I just wanted to show you how to create class library project and how to use it. Fine. Now in this class library project, you can add three classes: employee.cs, off-role employee, and on-role employee. You can have a look on this class. It have fields like employee number, name, department, designation, and net salary, which are common to both employees. And in off-role employee, we have field like per hour rate and worked hours, and one method calculate salary, which is calculating salary depending on your per hour rate and worked hour. Whereas in on-roll employee, you have fields like basic salary, HRA, gross salary, and PF. So your HRA, gross salary, and PF are based on basic salary, so that percentage we have specified, and then net salary we are calculating. Once we have done with this, we can compile this project. And then I wanted to use this DLL in this application. So this is your console application. Right click on this and say add reference. Okay, just check mark this employee management library project. So it will add reference of this project. That means the DLL which will get created over here will get referred over here. So this is a reference that you have added, you can see over here. Fine. Now in this program.cs we are going to use classes of this employee management library. So for that you have to include that namespace using employee management library, and then first I wanted to do operation on on-roll employee. So I can create object of on-roll employee class, and I can assign some values to employee number, name, department, designation, basic salary. So you can observe that on-roll employee actually don't have these fields, but these fields are in employee class. But on-roll employee is derived from employee class, that's why it have access to all these fields. Then we are calling calculate salary of on-roll employee. Obviously it will calculate all the salary details that I am printing over here. Next operation is on off-role employee. Here we are creating object of off-role employee, and again we are assigning some values to properties: employee number, name, department, designation. Then you are calling calculate salary. This calculate salary will calculate salary depending on per hour rate and worked hours, and then you will print net salary. Fine, these are some important points about inheritance. Every class directly or indirectly derives from object class. Multiple class inheritance is not allowed. Means you can't derive your class from two or more classes. But you can implement two or more interfaces in your class. To understand interface implementation, we will have separate session. In second part, we will have a look on how constructor works in inheritance. Thank you.